This is a story about Harvard, real estate, Boston, and timing.
A few decades ago, Harvard started secretly buying up all of this land in the Boston neighborhood of Allston. People were wondering, what are they going to do with this land? They've come up with different plans.
Celebrating Allston as a place for all. The workforce opportunities will lay the foundation for a thriving future.
It was a tough year for Harvard.
They're going to be opening what's called the Enterprise Research Campus, but that lab building is going to be opening mostly empty. What's behind me is the first step in what Harvard envisions as an entire new neighborhood in Boston, filled with lab buildings, offices, apartment buildings. Harvard is envisioning its land in Allston becoming this scientific mecca.
It is thrilling to be able to be at one more moment of history between the city of Boston and Harvard.
MIT has had a lot of success with the land they own. Kendall Square has been called the most innovative square mile on the planet. Harvard is in Cambridge, but there's really not any room for them to grow. Allston seemed like a natural place, but a lot of it's been sitting empty or underused for the past 25 years. Real estate investments have been very lucrative for MIT, just as they have for Stanford out in Silicon Valley, and that's something Harvard's looking at. But there's prestige that comes with this. There are relationships. It could bring in billions of dollars in economic activity once fully built out, and it could generate close to $250 million in state and local taxes.
When the Trump administration took over, there was an immense amount of scrutiny on Harvard. Federal funding taken away, lawsuits.
One of the things that's unique about what the Trump administration has done with Harvard is that they have pulled so many different levers.
They have $52 billion. They get huge tax incentives and tax breaks on that $52 billion.
A big chunk of Harvard's land in Allston is this Beacon rail yard. Harvard's owned it for decades, but it's been unable to do anything with it because I-90, the highway, runs through it, and there's this tangle of highway exits, and you can't develop anything on it. Under the Biden administration, the state landed a large $335 million federal grant, but then in 2025, the Trump administration took back that grant, and so that's left state officials scrambling. A state official said that they may have to wait until a new presidential administration to try to get that money back.
Right now, the land is fairly empty.
The market's not doing great right now when they're trying to fill this building. It could be quite a while before we see more meaningful development activity in that neighborhood. People argue that if Harvard had moved more quickly, this lab building might be full. The city of Boston is counting on Harvard's development in Allston as well. Boston relies on property taxes more than just about any other major city in the US for its revenue. New development is a huge part of that. The completion of the Enterprise Research Campus is a big milestone for Harvard, and even though the lab building is opening mostly empty, it looks like, I think there's a lot of pride about the conference center, about the entire project that Harvard takes out of this.
Harvard's not in financial trouble. They've been around for a few hundred years. They can certainly be patient investors, but the state and the city, the Department of Transportation, they're all invested in this land because they see it as a new frontier, a new type of development.